In this video, we're going to learn about how to create a surface that we can teleport to via our VR rig. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do File New, and I'm just going to start on an empty planet surface. And we're going to create our VR rig, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a surface that I want to be able to teleport onto. So in this case, I'm just going to create a simple box. And then I'm going to go under Interactions, and I'm going to select Teleportable To, and I'm going to click on the box. So now what we'll be able to do in VR is we'll be able to point to the surface of this box, the top surface of it, and when we click the Interact button of the VR rig, we'll be able to jump to that location. So let's take a look at exactly what's happening inside that Teleportable To code that was just added to this. So if we expand the box entity, you'll see that this tool added a child node called Teleportable To, and that's where the code lives that performs our teleportation, basically. And so if we right-click on this and hit Edit Code, we can kind of see what it's doing. So what this specifically does is it says, okay, when you press on this object, i.e. when we take our laser and we press on it on the surface of this box, if the normal is not equal to 0, 1, 0, so if it's not an upward-facing surface, like this box, the flat top of this box has a normal of 0, 1, 0. If it's not this, i.e. we clicked on the side of this box, it returns. So this is basically saying we can only teleport to flat surfaces that face the sky flat like this box does. And then finally it gets the player node, which is the VR rig, and then it will position it to the location of where our laser is pointing on this object. So that's how this works. And so if we go into VR now and we enter present mode and we point to our box, we jump onto the surface of this box wherever we click, but not the sides. So if I go back in here now, I try this again, that normal code means that it won't work if I click on the sides here, only when I click on the top. That little filter, those 3 lines of code here, filter for that case. So now, let's say we want to be able to make it so that we can teleport anywhere on the terrain. How do we do that? Well, to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this code that lives inside this Teleportable To, and I'm just going to copy it. So I'm just going to grab all of this, and I'm just going to hit Control-C. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the terrain. Just click anywhere on this terrain surface, and I'm going to undock this property editor. And then I'm going to click this little button here next to terrain space, and I'm going to add a new interactable attribute. And this adds this new interactable element here. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click on the onPress event. And then in this onPress event, I'm going to paste in that code that we took from this Teleportable To node. So this basically now says that anywhere I click, I interact with my laser on the terrain, I will jump to that location. The other thing I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to get rid of this filter code here, because as we build hills, the normals aren't necessarily facing up. So we want to be able to teleport anywhere on hills as well. So I'm going to remark this code. So now what we should have is a situation where anywhere I point on the ground, I'll be able to teleport to. And I'm actually going to just build a little terrain here so we can kind of see it work. And now I'm going to present, hit the VR present button, and now anywhere I point on the terrain, I can actually jump to. On the hills up here. So even though I'm pointing at locations on the side of this hill, which the normals are not 0, 0, are not going to be 0, 1, 0, they're going to be something else. Because we remarked those 3 lines of code, we can now go to anywhere on this terrain, including hills. So I hope that makes sense. So what we did is we basically pulled the code out of this default tool, this teleportable tool, tool that we added to this. I just pulled the code out of here, and I added it to the terrain surfaces interactable event, which allows us to add code that we can call some code anytime we interact with the terrain, basically. And I made it basically be the same thing minus this kind of filter code. So I hope this makes sense. Thanks for watching.